Guys.
We crack us up. Today is Monday, August 23rd, 21, and we have arrived in South Carolina.
We have.
We got up this morning in Georgia, and we left at about 9:15. We slept in a little bit because last night we had a little bit of a generator issue at midnight or so.
Yeah, middle of the night last night. I'm so in tune with it, and the generator shut down. And we really were not positive why yet. We come out and investigated it and found that we had no power at all at the remote panel here in the salon. And so immediately dug into it and took the cover off the generator, see what was going on. Had voltage where I needed voltage. Anyway, long story short, we think maybe the emergency shutdown switch may be going bad because I think it was in the shutdown position, which is something that you would normally push yourself. It's not an automatic switch. So
Like
anyway,
a breaker, right?
right,
It wouldn't trip?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It's not supposed to trip. It's a Cummins Onan 9 kW generator. It does a great job.
Jenny.
Jenny, we call her. Yeah. But anyway, so finally flipped the right switch, check voltage here and there, a little diagnostic work, maybe 15, 20 minutes, something like that. Found that switch flipped and got voltage back to our remote panel and checked for fault codes. There were 0 fault codes. Fired it back up, ran all night long, no problem. Fluid's good, everything's good on it. We check it on a daily basis, the fluids. So everything was good there. So anyway, we slept in a little bit this morning. Got taken off about 9:15 in the morning.
Yeah, we left our last overnight in Georgia last night at Buckhead Creek Top in Florida Passage, which is Georgia. And we are now outside of Hilton Head in an anchorage called Skull Creek North, which is slightly sketchy.
Yeah.
As an anchorage goes. It's really deep.
Last night's anchorage was really awesome. Just a beautiful place to be. You're out in the middle of nowhere. Just marsh, meadows and marsh all around you for miles. Current was fine. You're off of the ICW, a little protected area. Yeah, it's a great place to wake up. And as Wendy mentioned, now we're at Skull Creek North here in Hilton Head. And it's just not my ideal anchorage. When we got here, the anchorage was at low tide, just beyond low tide, coming back up. But it's slightly narrow and it's deep. It's deeper than I'm comfortable anchoring in typically. So we have the anchor out right now, have our gear all rigged on it, and we're just sort of watching to see what happens. I'm sure tonight will not be the most restful of nights. On the other hand, I'm not interested in it enough to change and go somewhere else. So here we are. We are just south of the Hilton Head. There's an inlet here, and that's not the name of the inlet, I don't think. But we're just right around the corner from the inlet.
You could see it. It's right.
Yeah,
right
just
there.
right around the corner from it. Yeah. So we had an interesting day. Everything went really good. We ran across an island with wild hogs on it.
Third wild day, besides dolphin and birds and all the other stuff.
Yeah,
But we saw the horses on Cumberland. I don't know if everybody saw that. We saw the bulls and the cows on Rattlesnake Island.
Yeah, I think
and we saw wild hogs today on an island called Green Island.
Green Island, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It looked like chunks of really black muck out there, which the soil underneath all the marsh is dark black, and sometimes chunks of it break off, maybe 3 or 4 foot, 2-3 foot size. So it looked like those on top of the grass, and then I realized, hey,
They're
moving. And binoculars revealed that it's wild hogs out there rooting around. So anyway, I'm sure it's common for people up here, but it was really neat to see that.
Yep. Unexpected.
And guess what else we saw? A ton of dolphin.
Oh my God, we did. And
Everywhere.
we were in some bluer greenish water today, and you could see they were playing in the wake.
Yeah, they were playing
Again.
in the boat wake. Yeah, they wanted to hang out with us 3 or 4 different times. But again, there were just times when you'd see 20 of them at one time in different spots around. So yeah.
cool stuff.
Great. Yeah, so we passed from Georgia into South Carolina at the Savannah River. Yay. Had a little toast with a little La Marca.
La Marca.
That's our
Opa!
typical toast. Opa, that's right, it's our typical toast. So we had that, and we did lunch on the grill. We cooked hot dogs on the grill underway. That's always nice.
Through a rainstorm.
Yeah, and naturally, when the hot dogs were just almost done, then here come the rain that wasn't supposed to be there. Thank you, Storm Ep. Like right now, there's supposed to be 3-mile-an-hour winds. I think they missed it by maybe 10, 15 miles an hour because it's blowing here.
Windy says that too, though. So it's really strange. They don't usually agree, first of all, but also windy tends to be a little more correct, doesn't it?
Yeah, windy and predict wind are always much more accurate. But they're off a little bit too.
What it is.
Yeah. So here we are. Let's see what else we have today.
That's pretty much all we had written down, but then we wanted to talk about the anchoring situation, which you touched on a little bit, but as far as the wind and the tide fighting and your anchor chain is that way and your boat's this way.
It's always a weird thing for me. You know, you anticipate when you come in and you drop your anchor that you're going to drop your anchor here and it's going to pay out chain and your boat's going to be back here somewhere and it's going to swing. And that, in theory, is how it should be. The problem is the spot we're in right now, wind and tide are not in agreement. Wind and tide are fighting right now. So the tide is coming in, which should put the boat back towards
away from the inlet.
Away from the inlet is what it should be doing. But that wind that we talked about, that's only supposed to be 3 miles an hour right now, is pushing the boat forward harder than the current. The current is pulling it backwards. And inevitably what happens is you wind up with this thing where your boat is going this way and the anchor chain is coming down at an angle this way. And
the boat's sideways to the to the current.
Yeah, anybody that's an experienced boater that anchors out a lot will know what we're talking about. But anyway, that's what we have right now. So she's anchored up. Her anchor bridle's on her, and we're riding it out. You know, it's nothing torrential happening out there or scary. It's just that it's narrow, it's deep, the wind's blowing a little bit. The tide here is 7.5 feet, I believe. So the deep part is going to be deeper as the tide comes in. So we'll see. We'll see. We got about 160 feet of chain out right now with the anchor bridle on that. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe the wind will calm down. We do notice in the weather app right now to the south of us, there's some reds and greens and yellows happening, and they're blowing offshore. So maybe that's got the wind kicked up a little bit, and that'll sweep on out to sea, and maybe the wind will calm down, and then we'll just deal with the tide here. You know, at 2 o'clock in the morning when you wake up, you always think about going out to sea. Not when you want to go out to sea, but when you drag your anchor and you're going out to sea. So that's what I think about anyway. Or smashing into somebody's dock, you know, when you're in 14, 15-ton vessel and it's cruising along at a couple of knots with current, it could do a lot of damage.
Sure could.
Yeah. Thankfully, we have good insurance, so, but that's not really the point, is it? Your boat's your baby, so you don't want that to happen.
Right.
Anyway, what else?
I think that's pretty much it. We had a pretty mellow day. We did have to run down from a fear of another rainstorm and pilot from down below today, but
we did.
Just ended up with a few sprinkles.
Yeah, we got all prepared. We went downstairs actually and started piloting from down there, and we just got a little drizzle. That was about it. 10 minutes and we were back upstairs. But don't really like piloting downstairs. It's totally good if you're in wide open. It's just your vision is a little more restricted downstairs, so it's so much better upstairs.
Especially now because we have our bicycles up on the bow, and you're looking through a bicycle tire and the bow rail and the windshield, and you're down low, and just a little awkward.
Yeah. Of course, if the Canadians would come here.
What Canadians?
The Paul and Julie Daigle Canadians.
Oh, hi, Paul and Julie.
Hi, Paul and Julie. If you guys would get here, and build our enclosure up top, then we wouldn't have to worry about that running back and forth.
We're excited to see you too. It's not just the enclosure, I
Oh,
swear.
yeah, we want to see you too.
But not Amy. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Yeah, so that was it. It was a pretty smooth day, and tomorrow morning we're headed up. We're going to be in South Carolina again tomorrow. I don't remember the name of the anchorage offhand, but one more night in South Carolina before we get to, well, two more. We're going to be in South Carolina, but one more anchorage in South Carolina before we get to Charleston.
Okay.
I just don't remember what it's called.
Right. I hear that 3-mile-an-hour wind howling outside.
Yeah.
Tacos for dinner tonight. Tonight's tacos for dinner, and yeah, that's about it.
Some kind of movie, we don't know, news, whatever. We'll put something on if we're not watching. It'll be on the background, and then tomorrow we'll get up early, hopefully, and get out of this crazy anchorage.
Yeah.
And stop for fuel tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I think we'll take on some fuel tomorrow. We'll
Some
probably
ice.
be up in the middle of the night moving the boat anyway when the anchor drags.
One of us will, but just joking.
Okay, well,
All right. That's
other than
it.
that,
Guess what?
guess what?
Okay.
Love
Love
you,
you.
bye.
Bye.